King of the Nerds, and I think I can find them some contestants in this audience. Oh! What? Are those nerds? Are those nerds?
I'd say some of those are nerds. Wouldn't you say that?
I think if
There's
you were
definitely a couple nerds in there.
if you were eating dinner and you saw one of those faces looking at you through the window,
Yep, I see nerds.
you would say those are scary people. What is a nerd nowadays? Do you know what I mean? It's like everything's nerd everywhere.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, nerds are very popular, but I don't.
Yeah.
You can't call everyone a nerd. I'm so creeped out that guy is in our studio right now.
That's not a nerd. That's a
creeper.
Scary pedophile creeper.
Oh my gosh.
I love it.
I don't know. Nathan Fillion was just on our show, and we were talking about how nerds are kind of taking over the world right now.
Yeah.
And he's a total nerd.
Okay.
Like, loves all nerdy things. I don't consider myself a nerd.
Yeah.
I am a total dork.
Okay, and what's a dork versus a nerd? I mean,
Dorky is just like, you know, just like goofy and yeah, this is me. But nerdy is more like gadgets and video games and things like. Although,
okay.
I have always loved the movie Waterworld.
Oh.
Does that make me a nerd?
No, that just makes you dumb.
What? I'll take that, actually. It's not the best movie. I just can't stop watching it every time it's on. Time now to run down the top things on the web.
We're going around the net. Candace, ENunn, Candace, today I brought the first video.
You did not.
Yeah, I did.
Shut the front door.
Yes, I did.
Madness. What?
It's set to a catchy Latin tune, and I think you're only going to hate 50% of it.
They call me Cuba Pete. I'm the king of the rumba beat. When I play the maracas, I go chick, chicky, boom, chick, chicky, boom. Yes, sir, I'm Cuban Pete. I'm the great Tamanete Street. When I start to dance, everything goes chick, chicky, boom, chick. Yeah!
That is the cutest spider I have ever seen. I love that.
I don't know if you know this, though, but when that spider bites you, you actually become a radioactive Hugh Jackman.
Yes.
It's still less terrifying than watching Bristol Palin on Dancing with the Stars.
I never saw it, but I'll take your word for it.
Yep.
If all spiders were dancing spiders, I wouldn't be afraid of them. They are so cute.
Well, I'm afraid of spiders dancing or non-dancing because they can kill you.
Okay. Our next clip features a matchup of the dance hit of the year, Gangnam Style, and a clip from Walker, Texas Ranger.
적인 여자 나는 선어해 점잖아 보이지만 놀 땐 노는 선어해 내가 되면 완전 미쳐버려 아름다워 사랑스러워 그래 너 그래 바로 너 지금부터 갈 때까지 가볼까
Just like Chuck Norris.
You know, guys,
Just like him.
people don't know this, but that's just how he turns off the TV.
I can see that.
It's funny, same thing happened to me when I accidentally turned on ABC Family the other day.
Accidentally? I'm pretty sure that's your favorite station.
I don't like ABC Family, I don't. And if you
Pretty Little
think...
Liars, you hate it, right?
all they play is Remember the Titans.
You know, the funny thing is, Chuck Norris does that every time he sees a Korean. I can't believe I took that line.
Every time Chuck Norris sees a Korean, he kicks over a television set?
Yeah, didn't you know?
Are you okay today?
Chuck Norris. I'm drunk. I'm just drunk.
Oh,
It's okay.
good, fine.
And now some kids at the Rochester Christian Church Ministries get into the Christmas spirit.
10 out of 7 kids agree. Math is hard.
Oh, so hard.
Because the 10 out of 7?
No, I got it. You didn't have to explain it.
Okay.
I think we got it.
Bad math.
Did you ever do any Christmas shows or anything like that? Church Christmas shows?
My grandma
or
made me do like and be in a nativity scene or something, you know, hold the staff.
What, would you play in it?
I think I played a goat or a wise man.
Of course you did.
What did you do?
Played a goat.
You did something.
I did. It doesn't even make sense what we did.
Yeah.
We had this thing called Salty's Christmas.
What?
Salty,
Like salt,
P-S-A-L-T-Y. And I guess he was a big... He was
P.S.? Like what is...
P.S. like Psalms.
Like a religious thing.
Yeah, it was a church.
Oh, okay,
I grew
sure.
up, I went to church.
Yeah.
So it was this big blue book. Let me tell my story.
Okay, sorry.
It was this big blue book, and he like danced around and sang a bunch of songs, and I don't know what he had to do with Christmas or anything, but yeah, that happened.
Is that a real big blue book that, like a Bible book? Is it real?
I don't know if it was a Bible or if it was a hymnal. I really don't know.
we have
but yeah, we have a clip.
Do we?
I know that story. That Santa was the strongest man who ever lived.
What?
That explains
Yeah.
so much about you. That was in your childhood explains everything that I know about you. That you
big
thought Santa
blue
Claus
book
was
sold
real, that you
till I
pee in
was
swimming
12.
pools.
I still pee in swimming pools, okay? There's nothing weird about that. We've been over this. Shut up. Shut up. No, there's not. Thank you. Rebecca Black is widely considered to be the worst use of auto-tune ever until now.
Oh.
Party at your house tonight. Everyone enjoy. Everybody celebrate. All the girls and boys. Live hard, party like a rock star. Live hard, party like a superstar. Live hard, party like you mean it. Live hard, party like a superstar. Live hard, party like you want it now.
Yeah, that's pretty
So
bad.
that's what C-3PO would look like as a hooker. How do I kill a trampire?
You mean a trampy vampire?
Yeah.
I know.
I didn't know what a trampire was, and I asked someone, and now everyone's making fun of me.
He didn't ask it once in the read-through. He asked it like 3 different times.
I don't spend time with a lot of tramps.
Just vampires.
Except on this show.
Happy birthday! What I love about this video is that she says, you know, live hard, party like a rock star, but she's getting in the back seat of the car. She's not even old enough to drive. Her mom's got to drive
That
her.
is not partying like a rock star. Otherwise,
not.
5-year-olds would be rock stars.
Doing it wrong.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
And finally, a clip from Norway, where an easily terrified man provides endless entertainment for his coworkers.
Og en lettskremt kar ved navn Basse.
Jobben min den går ut på å kopiere og printe og
Who would do this to their friends? These guys are dicks, man. I don't like these guys.
Oh, really? They're dicks?
Yeah.
Then would you please explain this? I'm not as scared of spiders as I used to be.
I think spiders are totally scary, and I've...
Death Star 2016.
All right, okay. So I had a little bit to do with that, so I'm sorry that maybe I'm a dick. I'm sorry.
Ass wagon.
I'm an ass wagon?
Ass wagon. He's an ass wagon.
Okay.
Thank you, Internet.
Still ahead, Dan Ackerman is here to talk about 2013's hottest gadgets.
New iPhones, game consoles, and tablets. Stick around.
Best ATM ever. 2012 has is almost over, but here's a look at the gadgets you can look forward to in 2013. Joining me now, senior editor for CNET, Dan Ackerman. Welcome, Dan.
Hey there.
Now, Dan, let's talk about Apple. What can we expect from the next iPhone from them?
Well, you know, the iPhone 5 just came out, so of course everyone's already talking about the next one, whether that's the iPhone 5S or the iPhone 6. They kind of wrap themselves up here, where every year they have to have a new one, so they have to have a new one. I'm not really sure what else they can cram into it. We've seen rumors about different colors. I guess that would be kind of cool. Maybe some prototypes have been floating around with bigger screens, but it's already got 4G and they already had the bigger screen, so I don't know if there's that much more you can do. They're just kind of stuck in that cycle.
I mean, the colors thing always is interesting to me. I can't believe they don't already have that. Why hasn't that happened yet?
You know, I mean, they have it for the iPods now. You can get those in a bunch of colors, and that actually looks really good. Maybe they wanted to see it work on a less popular product first before they said, okay, now we're going to roll it into the big dog.
Okay. What about the next iPad?
Well, that's something that should be really cool. We've got that iPad mini now, which everybody loves, except it's got a low-res screen, and Apple has been screaming Retina at us. That's what they call a super high-res screen for like 2 years now. The iPhone, Retina. The big iPad, Retina. The MacBooks, Retina. The iPad mini, well, that's kind of low-res. So if they add that maybe in March or April or later on in the summer, I think that'll bring a lot more people over to that mini rather than the big one, and maybe that's what the iPad should have been all along.
Yeah. Let's talk consoles. What do you predict we'll see with the next consoles from Microsoft and Sony?
Well, you know, the PlayStation 3, the Xbox 360, they've been around a long time, like 5 or 6 years or more. And the new Nintendo, the Wii U, just came out. So we're probably going to see announcements of new consoles from Microsoft and Sony next year. They may not hit the streets next year, but at least see what they're doing. I think you're going to see a lot more cloud stuff where maybe you don't go to the store and you buy a game in a box that somebody put on a truck, you just download it. That makes it easier for them to make money and stops you from reselling your games at a game store. Game companies hate that. They don't make any money on that.
So you're telling me we're going to maybe buy our games like we buy an application on an iPhone or something, and that's going to eliminate many of these stores that resell them hard copies?
Yeah, the game companies hate that because if you go buy a used copy of something for 30 or 40 bucks, they don't get another bite of that apple. It's kind of like ebooks. Ebooks are great, but I can't lend it to you and I can't resell it. That's bad for us, good for these big media companies. Guess who usually wins?
Media companies?
Correct.
Bingo! Everyone seems to be trying to replace the cable box. Could we see any new products that could accomplish that?
You know, there have been tons of people who've been trying to be what they call cable cutters. They get rid of that monthly cable bill. I just looked at mine. I'm paying like $220 a month. I couldn't believe it, to basically be disappointed by Homeland every week. So I think a lot of people are looking for a way around that. But that's another case where you have the big cable companies and the channels and the content providers. It's a big sort of media industrial complex that it's really tough to rip those guys out of there. That's why you can't buy HBO a la carte, because they're all tied in together. That being said, your game console, your Xbox, the Nintendo Wii U, they actually do a good job of getting some cable content on there. And you have things like the Roku box, but it's not the same as having regular television. Hopefully, in the near future, somebody's going to break that monopoly and get that, Time Warner or Comcast box out of your living room.
I would love it if there was a way for me to not show all the channels that I don't get. I'm always looking at the guy going, I want to watch that, but I don't get it, so don't show it to me. So if you can come up with that,
how are you going to find all those pawn shop shows then?
Right, that's true. What's going to get us to buy a new TV in 2013?
I got to say, that's one of the things I'm actually excited about, is all the new stuff coming to TVs. One, we might finally see an Apple-branded television set. We know they've been working on it. It's the worst-kept secret in technology. What are they going to do? They're going to make it look really nice. Maybe they're going to have a lot of streaming services. So I think everyone's just going to check that out just because it's Apple. But more than that, there was something I was expecting this year called OLED TV. These are TVs that are maybe 5 millimeters thick. They're insane if you've seen one in person, and they show them off every once in a while. They got delayed till 2013, but I think it's worth the wait. They're really awesome. And then if you have everything, it's 1080p now and super high res. That's not enough. There's a new format coming called 4K, and that's 4,000 lines of resolution. Honestly, your eye can't really see it, but who wants to have a 1080p TV when and your neighbor has a 4K one, so you got to get one too. There's one model you can buy now from Sony. It's like $24,000, but I think we'll see a lot more next year. That'll hopefully be, you know, a little bit cheaper at least.
Even though we can't actually see it or process it, I still want to buy it.
But you can buy it, and that's the most important part.
That's the most important. Any other things we should look out for in 2013?
You know, I think something that's really cool, that's really bubbling up, getting a lot of underground traction right now is 3D printing. That's where you get a box in your house, and it literally uses plastic instead of ink and can print something in 3D, whether it's something simple like an iPhone stand or something more complex like a set of gears. You know, there are pop-up retail stores starting now. There's one right by me here in New York. I saw a holiday pop store for 3D printing. MakerBot is one of the big companies. When you can actually get a spare part for something and print it at home, I think that's a game changer. These things are just going to be a few $100 within a year or two, and everyone may have one in their house.
That's pretty cool. I know the first thing I would print would probably be calf implants for both of my legs. Let's say thanks to Dan Ackerman from CNET. And now, Weston Scott gets drunk again.
Now, there's only two names you need to know when you're talking about great American whiskey, and that's Jack Daniels. In 1866, Jasper Newton Jack Daniel set out to make a bourbon whiskey. What he made was an American liquor icon. Today, Jack Daniels offers up a wide variety of whiskeys, and I'm getting an exclusive tour of their Tennessee distillery. Ron, I'm excited about this tour. What's the first step, sir?
All right, we start our tour off here at the Rick Yard.
Okay.
And this is where we make our own charcoal, and we use this charcoal to mellow our whiskey with. We run our raw whiskey through the charcoal to improve its flavor by removing fusel oil, corn oil, fatty acids, and other impurities that you're going to find in most other whiskeys. And that's the stuff that'll give you the headache. There he is, Jasper Newton Daniel. Now, he born in 1850, the 10th of Tinchota. This safe, right here, in this very spot, this is what killed Jack Daniel.
This is the famous safe.
This is it. What happened? Jack coming to work early one morning. Lynn wasn't here yet. Jack fiddled with that combination right there, and he couldn't get it right. He tried it again. He got angry. He kicked the door of the safe, and he broke his big toe. And that toe got infected real bad. Until 6 years after Jack kicked that safe, he died of that infection.
So, Ron, what's the moral of the story then?
Don't come into work early. It's going to kill you. All right, now we got our 3 grains right here that we use to make our whiskey. There are very few ingredients to our whiskey. We use corn, barley malt, and rye. The other ingredient is water.
Yep.
And then the yeast. Yeah.
You're missing one important ingredient.
Yeah.
That's in there.
What
the
is
most important ingredient?
The most important is the love that's behind it.
Love, sir.
Yes, sir.
Love.
There is a lot of love here.
He knows. He knows. He knows.
A lot of love in Lynchburg.
Now, Ron, you brought me over to the water supply.
Yes, sir.
For Jack Daniels. Tell me a little bit about it, sir.
Jack Daniel discovered this water makes for some pretty good whiskey. It's iron-free. And this is why we're all still located right here today. Fermenting sour mash. Start with them 3 grains, corn, barley, rye.
Got it.
Grind them up to a flour and you cook it. That's called mash. You throw some yeast into the mash and you got sour mash. And that's what we have right here. 40,000 gallons, stainless steel, 25 feet deep. We're making whiskey right here.
Tell me what I'm looking at down in here, sir.
You're looking into a vat that is 14 feet deep. It's hand-packed with a column of charcoal 10 feet deep.
Okay.
And we got people who's tasting what comes off the bottom of each one of these vats, and they're trained, and they can tell by the flavor when it's time to change that big charcoal filter. And we'll change about every 5 months. You need to know we're the only whiskey maker in the world that makes their own barrel. This is American white oak. Now, we're going to put a big old flame, a blowtorch, to blow up through the barrel, and it's going to char the wood on the inside of that barrel, and it caramelizes the sugars that's in the wood, and it forms compounds that are essential to the flavor of Jack Daniels.
How many barrels are actually in here?
This is our smallest barrel house. It's our oldest barrel house. We got 6,059 barrels in this little building here.
And it's the consistency in your guys' process that keeps the quality and the product so good.
Consistency is everything.
Ron, thank you so much, sir, for showing me, where Jack Daniel's comes from, how it's made, and its production of a fine Tennessee whiskey. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. It's been our pleasure.
Now, I learned a lot about Jack Daniel's today, but tomorrow is going to be even better because I'm going to meet with Master Distiller Jeff Arnett, where I'm going to get to sample. Just got to chill from that.
Weston Scott's liver.
We are so sorry. Hold the phone. We've got tweets.
Tweets. Tom 0557. How do you kill a trampire? A penicillin shot to the heart.
That would do it. That would kill a trampire.
That's really cheesy and good.
Tom, if you don't know, a trampire is a tramp who's a vampire.
He just learned this.
Yep, that's just a
and for
thing.
that tweet, you're getting a prize pack of Resident Evil Retribution swag, including the film, soundtrack, and other goodies, courtesy of the guys behind Resident Evil Retribution on Blu-ray and DVD this Friday.
Still ahead is Amazon getting in the smartphone business, plus which action superstar will show up in The Expendables 3. Find out in the feed. What's been your problem today?
Resident Evil Retribution on Blu-ray and DVD Friday, December 21st.
All the news you need to know.
I'm Sarah Underwood, and here are your top stories. There's a rumor going around that Amazon is trying to get in on the smartphone business. A Taiwanese newspaper has reported that the company placed an order at Foxconn to produce 5 million devices and hopes to release the gadget sometime in the middle of next year. Word is the phone will retail for about $200. Other than that, there aren't many details, and Amazon hasn't confirmed any of this. But based on the success of the Kindle Fire, it would make sense that this would be their next step. And NASA just sent 2 satellites into permanent retirement by intentionally crashing them into the moon. The twin spacecraft known as Ebb and Flow recently completed their mission of mapping the moon's gravity, but instead of leaving them in eternal orbit, the folks at NASA decided to send them out in style. The 2 satellites crashed into the lunar surface at 3:30 p.m. Pacific time, and while the entire event was live streamed, you couldn't actually see the impact because the site was obscured by shadows. Yeah. And now for your daily dose of entertainment news. First up, in a nod to the show's comic book roots, AMC will be re-airing the first season and a half of The Walking Dead entirely in black and white. For those who don't know, Robert Kirkman's comics are completely void of color. The first episode will air February 14th at 6:30 p.m. And next, good news, action movie fans, Jackie Chan has just joined the cast of The Expendables 3. Martial arts sensation, actor, and all-around badass said at a press conference that he would only take the role under the condition that he would be more than just a minor character. Now, if we can just get Keanu Reeves on board, our plans will be complete. And finally, a new trailer for Star Trek Into Darkness came out today, and it looks amazing. It's got some new footage of Kirk and the film's villain, along with lots of space explosions. Check it out.
In you, but there's not an ounce of humility. You think that you can't make mistakes, but there's gonna come a moment when you realize you're wrong about that. Then you're gonna get yourself and everyone under your command killed. You think you're are safe. You are not. Is there anything you would not do for your family?
Star Trek Into Darkness will be in theaters May 17th, 2013. I am Sarah Underwood, and you've just been fed. Stay tuned. Robert Carradine and Curtis Armstrong are here live. They're hosting a Nerding Survivor. Sign me up.
The feed is brought to you by AT&T. Rethink possible.
What's more fun than nerds? Watching nerds battle each other.
11 of the brainiest,
3.1415926535898.
gamingest,
I would be happy living my entire life in front of a computer.
Victory tastes good. Fantasy and science fiction lovingest nerds in the world.
I shall rain fire.
Are landing here at Nerdvana.
Please welcome Curtis Armstrong and Robert Carradine. I mean, this show is, I'm watching that episode and there's paint being dumped on people and
we do that.
What is
the paint was water soluble, you know.
The paint was water soluble?
You know.
Okay.
And it's not something we do all the time. It was a one-time painting thing. But we did look forward to doing it.
That was really fun. You had they had them pick the teams, and then one person was left out of that whole thing. It was like old when I would play sports in elementary school. You always pick the team. There's one person always left out.
Yeah, well, it's the nerd nightmare.
The nerd nightmare. But then what they did so wonderfully.
Well, it could be a spoiler.
You know what? I'm not going to bring it up. I'm not going to bring it up. Here's the question that I'm watching. I'm not necessarily a nerd, okay? Is this mocking nerd culture? Is it embracing it? You don't want to.
Oh, we're championing. We celebrate it. We celebrate. I mean, Robert and I have been celebrating nerd culture for
28 years?
Well, officially for 28 years.
But maybe
in truth, actually long before that.
Years.
We were sort of born that way. So, but since Revenge of the Nerds, we were sort of carrying the banner for nerd culture, and we will continue to do that.
How did you develop the concept of the show? I mean, is this was in your guys' brain this whole time, or?
Well, we had tried to put something together about 5 or 6 years ago. I called up Curtis and I said, hey, what do you think about a nerd reality show? And he thought, yeah, that sounds cool. And we tried to get the thing launched, but there wasn't the whole nerd motion.
We hadn't reached nerd tipping point.
Exactly.
At that
we were still ascending the nerd acceptability mountain. So this time when it got dusted off, it was embraced.
It was embraced.
Yes.
The time had come. It was the right time.
When do we hit nerd tipping point? And have we already hit it?
Oh, we're there. It's full-on Vesuvius time.
I know. I mean, you look around, and one of the things that has always struck us is how lucky nerds are today. Not to sound like the old nerd here, but the idea that we're in a culture now where nerds can gather with their own.
And
at
pay
the
lots of money to do it.
Yeah,
doing all those kinds of things. So now it is an accepted part of the culture, and we just love that. And that's what makes a show like this possible.
And it's everywhere you look. I mean, commercials for shavers and commercials for cars. I mean, there's always a nerd.
Someone who hasn't typically been described as a nerd maybe would say, hey, can I get a little bit of this commercial action, please?
You know, I have to tell you something. We've been on only for a couple of minutes, and that's the second time you've denied you're a nerd.
Oh, okay.
And I'm
we
beginning
can
to wonder.
send you a nerd pack, okay, and some glasses, and you can suit up.
I think you need that.
Well, we started the show, Candace and I were talking, and she said that she was a dork, not a nerd. I've used way different words to describe Candace. But what is a nerd versus a dork, and is it even a fair question to ask that?
Well, I tell you, I think a dork is a nerd by another name.
Yes.
Okay.
It's all part of the same thing.
Geek.
I mean, anything that when you see the movie, the old movie, Revenge of the Nerds, that we did in &84, Robert's great moment at the end, the speech, which he mainly wrote himself, about talking to all of the nerds who are there and saying whatever they called you.
Yeah, spaz, geek, dork, whatever you were called.
Yeah. Come and join us.
Come and join us, yeah.
And it's that idea of just tolerance and acceptance of nerds of all generations. They all may have been called different things.
Races and creeds.
That's right.
Okay.
And sexual orientation.
And sexual orientations.
Wow.
I mean, the nerds were always the outsiders, no matter, where you were. And now we accept them and celebrate them.
In this show, you have lots of team challenges. They get divided into teams. What are some of the favorite challenges? I don't want to make any spoil. I'm not going to spoil anything, but I'll let you guys spoil some things. What are some of the favorite challenges you have?
One of my favorite challenges was the physics challenge, because we actually got to destroy stuff.
Yeah.
Cool. With heavy objects and dropping heavy objects and pieces of glass.
It was a challenge, really a challenge, because we wanted to do a physics challenge, but obviously it has to be visual and ideally kind of funny. Because, I mean, above everything else, the show is funny. And so the physics challenge was brilliant. I mean, it was one where, although it was visual, they had to use their minds totally. And it was kind of cool.
They were battling.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was really
The answers were all over the map.
But then there were other ones, for example, we have a live gaming challenge where they're in a huge, it's like they're in a video game.
Yeah, it's like Tron.
They operate flying machines on an iPad, and they have to go through a maze of traps, flying through a maze of traps, while the other team tries to shoot them down.
Nerf guns, and they're trying to shoot them out of the sky.
This is like, it's nerd heaven.
It's nerd heaven.
It's nerd heaven.
And the place where they live, Nerdvana. Now that is absolutely nerd heaven.
Nerdvana.
Oh yeah. They had a popcorn machine in there. They had a smoothie maker. They had.
See, I like both of those things. Am I a nerd?
Yeah.
This is what I was trying to say earlier. I'm afraid you're protesting too much. I think you really are a nerd.
The nerd doth protest too much.
He does. he really does.
Talking to you guys is hilarious because it's like bringing me back to watching Revenge of the Nerds. Do you get tired of being known for Revenge of the Nerds, or
who could get tired of that? I mean, you get free car washes, free coffee. You might even get out of a ticket or two.
Yeah, actually, yes, I did once.
Did you?
I got out of a ticket because the guy recognized me as Booger.
Too. I'm not letting the nerd get away.
No,
no.
I mean, it was great. We've obviously we've had long careers. We've done a lot of things we've been proud of. But I don't think any of the nerds from Revenge of the Nerds regret for a second having done it.
Well, it makes me laugh every time I still see it, so thank you very much. Let's say thanks to Curtis Armstrong and Robert Carradine. King of the Nerds premieres January 17th on TBS.
Nerds rule!
And now over to the lovely Candace.
Thank you, Michael. Stay tuned. Gadget Prawn reviews a true iPad competitor, the Nexus 10 Android tablet. Find out if Google can make it a fight.
Tomorrow on Attack of the Show.
All-around badass Vinnie Jones drops by the show with his new flick, Company of Heroes. Then we've got a Joseph Gordon-Levitt twofer when Chris Gore checks out Premium Rush and Looper on DVD Tuesday. And the one and only Blair Butler rounds up her all-time favorite comics in fresh ink.
It's Attack of the Show tomorrow at 7.
Looking for an iOS game that can help you get in touch with your inner Victorian side? Well, look no further. Grimm, Ride of the Perambulator will do just that. The game's story begins with a mother forgetting her baby in its pram on the train platform. And it's up to you to make it through 10 Victorian worlds, keeping the baby safe and getting it back to its mother. With simple controls, tilt left or right to move the pram, and tap to jump or brake. A quick baby throw will help you through those perilous moments. And while it may seem simple, there's a dark presence watching your every move. The evil Mr. Grimm. He'll stop at nothing to capture the baby for himself. Grimm will keep you entertained with hours of challenging gameplay. Available for iPhone and iPod Touch. Pick it up for 99 cents on iTunes.
Hey, it's Matt Mira, everybody. Matt, what do you have for us today?
Oh, Michael, you know, iPads, they're pretty much the best tablet on the market, right? That's what you're thinking?
That's what I've been thinking.
Everyone's like, oh, this Android thing, it's a competitor, but it never is. That might change today, folks.
What?
This is Google's Nexus 10. Here's some more info on it.
Wow.
Now Google has a true iPad competitor with the Nexus 10. This new Android tablet features a super high-res 10-inch display and is powered by a dual-core processor. It also ships with the latest Android OS Jelly Bean. This new tablet can be yours starting at $399. Here it is. I like the design a lot. It's a 16:9 screen, so when you're watching HD movies, HD TV shows, not gonna have black bars on it. It's less square than an iPad. The construction, though, feels a little hollow to me.
Can I help?
Yeah, you can hold it, absolutely.
Yeah.
Take a look at that B-roll. Oh, it's good stuff. He's holding it right now. The back is rubber, so it's gonna be good for grip, right?
Yeah, that's a nice grip.
It's not slippery.
Nope.
Do this. It's not gonna fall.
Nope.
Now, the whole thing is a little more than a pound, and it feels very balanced.
Yep.
Right? Nice size, 1.33 pounds. Good stuff on here. 2 buttons, Michael.
That's amazing.
Just 2. Volume up and down. Sleep wake. That's all you need on there.
Volume up and down, sleep wake.
No SD card for expansion, so a lot of the nerds on the internet complain about that, but hey, everything's on the cloud now. Get over it.
Let's talk about the screen, shall we? You said it's 16:9. How is it?
It is 16:9, and it is gorgeous. Let's take a look at this. This has something called Super PLS. Yeah, that means really nothing. It's called plane to line switching.
Okay.
So you're just getting a good viewing angle. Every angle you look at this thing, it's good. We look good in all angles, Michael. Take a look at us
that's
right
like
there.
us looking at us looking
that
at
was Black
us.
Sweater Day. That was a good time.
That was a good time. We dressed the same
I
that
miss
day.
Black Sweater Day. Guess what, everybody? This is a higher resolution than the iPad.
What?
Yes. 2560 by 1600.
Wow.
That's just a bunch of numbers to everybody else, but to me, it means it's just a little bit clearer. Take a look. We have the color excellent, and the brightness is good. There they are next to each other.
Wow.
Normally, you'd see crazy pixels when you're looking at something next to an iPad Retina display, but this thing really holds up. The colors are popping a little bit more on the Nexus 10, so I say, good job, people at Samsung who have manufactured this for the people at Google. I'm going to keep talking,
He's
Michael.
speaking directly to the people at Samsung who manufacture this for the people at Google. What about power, Matt?
Oh, you want power?
I like power.
Yeah, you need power.
In
Let's
my
talk
tablet,
about it.
I need power.
When you're scheduling your tennis games, Michael, this is going to have all the power you want.
Tennis matches, Matt. They're tennis matches.
I'm sorry. Why is that funny? I used to play tennis in Cape Cod. Anyway, here's the thing. This is the fastest Android tablet we have ever tested on Google, on Gadgetron, rather. And guess what? It's going to be the fastest one we've ever tested because we're never testing another one. It's 1.7 gigahertz Xenos processor. That's dual core.
Wow.
So you're not just getting one core.
I don't want one core.
You get 2, buddy. There you go. It's a quick machine. There's also 2 gigs of RAM in here, and it's running Android's 4.1 Jelly Bean, which is as smooth as the name, ladies and gentlemen. Speed test time. Let's do it. Here we go.
Okay.
You got the iPad with the Retina display. You got the Nexus 10 on the side there. You're thinking, hey, he didn't hit the button fast enough. Doesn't matter.
Whoa.
Because the Nexus 10 smoked it. There it is.
Usain bolted it.
Oh, that's an Olympic reference. There is an option on here as well for multiple users, so we can share this.
We can wear the black sweaters.
Black Sweater Day. You and I are going to have our own profile. I'm going to click on Michael right now. Oh, there's some tennis.
All the latest tech and software. How does the battery life hold up with all this? Because that's key.
Michael, how long's your average movie?
The average movie that I watch is usually about 2 minutes.
Okay. Well, you can watch a lot of those movies because this battery, just playing video, will go for 8.4 hours. Wow. It's not really 0.4. It's 8 hours and 40 minutes, which is like 0.6. But anyway.
8.6.
Yeah, that's a good amount of time, right? You could take a flight from here to Burma.
Yep.
I don't know if that's true. How far is Burma? 4 hours? Brian Compton, you're wrong.
4 hours, 20
24
minutes.
hours? Maybe it is. I don't know. But the point is, this will last the trip.
To Burma.
And if you got one of those fancy Virgin planes, you go ahead and plug it in on the plane.
Oh. That's sweet.
But I will say this, actually. It charges slower than it drains.
Charges, got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
so you can't really use it while it's going because it'll
You
drain
could be
faster.
plugged in and still be depleting.
Yeah, maybe you want to plug it in and then you put it down and you talk to the lady next to you, say, hey, how's it going? Where you going? Burma? Me too. That's weird. That's what you do with this thing.
That's how I always like to start talking to people at the airplane. You can get this. Anything else I should offer?
Well, I mean, this does something called MiraCast. I'm going to call it MiraCast. It might be MiraCast. I'm not sure. I've had a lot to drink. Now, what it will do is actually it'll do the thing that Apple has been doing forever, which will mirror whatever you want onto a television that is Google TV enabled. Cool. This is technology that won't be out till 2013, but guess what? It's December. So you got like 20 days before 2013, right?
Yeah.
So it'll be around the corner, and then Google says every TV will have Google Television in it by 2014.
Cool.
I don't believe that for a second.
You can get the Samsung Google Nexus 10 for $399. Matt, what's the verdict?
5 out of 5.
Come on! What?
Yeah. Yep. Cut back to Michael again.
What?
Now, this is the best Android tablet on the market. Period. End of review.
Thank you, Matt Mira. He's saying goodbye. He's saying goodbye. That's it for today's Gadget Prawn.
5 out of 5. 5 out of 5. I'm so excited. We got a 5 out of 5, and I got to dance. It's a great day. It's time for today's epic fail.
Behold, a Russian groom going down on a new bride.
Divorce.
You know, if she doesn't bounce, she's a witch.
What?
Many people don't know this, but that's how Lenin died and how Gorbachev got that birthmark.
Fail that wedding.
Well,
Let's look at the Twitter wall. Our silence. Someone show Michael Kosta the secret handshake and let him in the club already.
The nerd handshake?
You seriously are a nerd. You denied it like 3 or 4 times.
what I think is... Oh, really? I'm a nerd?
You're a nerd! You're a nerd! Oh, no! Yay!
This is how nerds walk! This is how nerds walk!
You're just weird
To
now.
answer.
Thanks to
I like this one.
Weston Scott,
Iron Reaper.
Matt
okay.
Mira. We're running out of time.
Bye,
Dan
thank you.
Robert Carradine, Curtis Armstrong, and Sarah, and to the nerd.
Good night.
Thank you, nerd.
I'm Nerd Michael Costa. What a show.
What a show.